You smell my shirt? I got this shirt from the thrift store and she is sniffing it up like a freaking crazy dog. Mama's baby. She loves when I get on the floor to film a video because I sit on the floor most of the time. It's where I'm most comfortable and like the best lighting is in this apartment, and she just loves it so much. She just loves when Mama gets to her level, huh? Mama's looking okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Amanda. Today's video is going to be all about how to detect your ovulation and also confirm that ovulation occurred. So if you guys are here with fertility problems, fertility questions, fertility support, I hope you hit that subscribe button and let's get right onto today's video. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about my top 3 ways to track my ovulation and confirm ovulation. And I'm going to say this from the very beginning is that it's best. So my number one recommendation is to have at least 2 ways you're tracking ovulation. And I say that because some ways are more accurate than others, and your body also might be prone to be more showing signs of ovulation through those factors, and some are more scientifically proven to have better result than some. Okay, so I'm gonna go over a couple of ones you can do. Go through all the ones that you could choose from, and then I'm going to give you guys my top 3 in the order that I do them and the most important, and then we'll get right into it. So the first one is to use an ovulation predictor kit, which I will talk about in this video. The next one is going to be charting your period, which is a big one, but I think this is one that you should always be doing. But this one is not, you're not able to confirm ovulation with just tracking it, or you could predict it, but you can't confirm that it did occur. The next thing is to check your cervical mucus, which I will talk about. The next one is to take your basal body temperature, which I will talk about as well, and then use a fertility monitor. There's also a couple that are not listed here that are checking your cervix. That one's a really, really big one. That you can use. I personally don't use that one, and I will not be talking about it too much in this video, but the top 3 that I'm going to talk about are going to be basal body temperature, ovulation predictor kits, and the last one is cervical mucus. I will talk about charting your period, but to me that's kind of a given. I need to fix the lighting because this face is shadowing and I don't want that to happen. So let's get right into basal body temperature. So I'm going to show you guys the thermometer I use, which is a very, very basic thermometer. I think it cost me less than $10. And I got this at Walgreens or CVS. I can't remember which one. And it was during the pandemic. So most research and scientific studies want you to have a basal body temperature thermometer that goes to the 1/100th, so 2 places after the decimal. So if it's 97.56 or 97.52. But because I started doing this during the pandemic, I found what I could, and you can also get more high-tech ones that are known for fertility. I did not want to spend that kind of money up front, so we are going with this one right now, and it just has 1 decimal, so 1/10, and I will show you guys that it does that. Whoa, I don't know what that means. So you guys can see it's only 1 decimal point. I don't know what low means. Okay, so that is the thermometer I use, and you want to take your your basal body temperature every morning right when you wake up, and you don't want to be able to move. You don't want to have to move too much. So if you have to roll over to get your thermometer, do it slowly, steadily, and don't do it super quickly to jolt your body. You want it to be very smooth, and you want to keep your body at the resting state. So don't even try to move your arms too much. Literally, when you wake up, if I'm turned around this way, my thermometer's over there, I usually reach my arm over to see if I can feel it. If I can, then that's all movement I do. If I can't, I just rotate the top half of my body to look to the mirror, or to the side table to see where it is. For a while, I kept it under my pillow, which was really good. You could just swipe under till you felt it. But now that we have side tables, I've been putting it on my side table, and it's worked just as well. So if you guys are interested in doing that, those are some of my ideas on where I keep mine. this is the most accurate way to track your ovulation. I will talk about later during OPKs, which is ovulation predictor kits. Those can have false positives, and they can also not give you a positive at all, even though you are ovulating. So I will talk about that in a second. It's shadowing again. I can't help it. The clouds are like just a rolling by because it's about to thunderstorm here in Florida. So the basal body temperature is the most accurate, and this one is the one you want to take every single day. I talked about it in my last video or a couple videos back that I stopped doing it because my doctor or my blood work came back saying that I did not ovulate. Well, my doctor actually predicted that I did ovulate, maybe, possibly. I had signs of it and my temperature did spike. So he does believe that I did eventually ovulate. But he has no way to confirm that, so I still am diagnosed with anovulatory cycles until he can have a confirmed thing of saying, no, she did not ovulate. And that is totally my fault for not taking my basal body temperature every day and just going off of what, you know, that blood work came back. I could have just ovulated super late that cycle. The stress could have made me ovulate late. So there is a bunch of factors that come into that. So if you guys are taking your basal body temperature, don't give up, even though you think you're supposed to, like, this is where the app comes in tracking your period. Just because your app says you're supposed to ovulate today doesn't mean necessarily that's gonna happen. And a lot of people like myself get discouraged when, you know, you're supposed to see that dip and you don't see it, but you know, it could happen 3 or 4 days later, but by that time you've already been so discouraged you don't even take it anymore, and you don't even know that you ovulated. So continue to take it, even if it's getting discouraging, keep doing it because it will pay off in the end. And it's also more scientific evidence to help your doctor more understand your body and to diagnose you further. All right, so going on to the second one that I do, which is taking OPKs. These are the OPKs that I take. These are just the easy at-home ones, ovulation tests, and they come with 25 tests, so I usually have to buy one every cycle. I will start, so I'm gonna show you guys real quick before we talk about OPKs. I wanna show you what I'm talking about, saying that my blood work came back negative, but that I still possibly could have ovulated. So if you look back on my here, this is my basal body temperature from last month, and you can see that, come on, you can see how I stopped taking my temperature for a while, but when I started taking again, I went back to the doctor and he scolded me. I had the dip and then I had the peak. Now, what discouraged me is because I had that dip in my temperature, right? It's clear as day, right? It's clear as day that that was a normal cycle. What threw me off is 1, the blood work, and 2, the OPKs. So that's why I'm saying they're a little bit discouraging, and sometimes you kind of have to trust basal body temperature more than OPKs, because OPKs are all about timing. You have to time it perfectly. Some women only have a LH peak for 6 hours, which is crazy to think about. Some women have an LH peak for 72 hours and a test can detect it for that long. So it kind of just depends on you. I think that my cycle my LH peak was super, super short, and I didn't even realize that I did have an ovulation. Like, I didn't even realize I did ovulate. So I'm gonna go here and go into my ovulation tests. Okay, so here's last cycle. I'm gonna show you guys, I think it was June 6th is when I went to the doctor, or July 6th is when I went to the doctor, and you can see right here that that test right there is negative. June 6th, where is that at? This one, the second to last one. So it was very negative, you can tell. And then according to the basal body temperature, I had peaked ovulation on the 5th, so the day right before it, which was extremely negative, which was one right above it, so cycle D, or this third one from the bottom, extremely negative. So I was very discouraged, and if you see at the time I took the test on 6/5 was at 11:22 a.m. and I didn't test again until 24 hours later, which was on 6/6 at 12:09 p.m. So actually it was actually almost 13 hours later. So my ovulation could have occurred in between those hours and I didn't take them. So if you're gonna be taking OPKs, I really suggest that when you feel like ovulation is going to occur, such as your basal body temperature is starting to decrease, or if your period cycle or your phone or your charting says you're going to start your period or your ovulation is going to occur in 5 days, start taking ovulation predictor kits twice a day. Once between 10 and 12. If you do between 10 and 12, do it between 3 and 5. So then you have one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and you're able to catch that peak. If you're someone like me, even taking almost 3 a day is going to be probably my best bet. So in the morning, in the afternoon, and later at night. I should say a lot of studies say that you should not be taking OPKs with your first morning urine. So don't be doing that unless your doctor tells you to do it. But with a lot of research done, I have decided to not do that. Pregnancy tests, obviously first morning urine, that's kind of like a obvious statement. But yeah, so that is OPKs. Ovulation predictor kits can be a hassle, and they can also be a bummer. So, you know, if you're supposed to ovulate tomorrow and you don't see a dip in temperature, or you see the slight dip in temperature but not like the major dip, you see it starting to go down, and then the OPK is still negative, it can be a Debbie Downer, and that can force you to not continue to take your basal body temperature, but you have to keep doing it. So OPKs are kind of, OPKs are so confusing for me because like they're so helpful, they're so resourceful, but there are also a lot of cons to them, is that they're not as accurate as basal body temperature. They're really hard to get the timing perfectly. Your timing has to be perfect. You can also get a lot of false positives. That is very common with women with fertility issues, is like, oh, well, I ovulate, so I must, you know, be able to get pregnant. We're just not having our timing right. They can give off false positives. So make sure you're going to the doctor and asking them if that's happening and you're not getting pregnant, but you're getting positive OPKs. Explain that to them, because then they can do blood work, recommend doing basal body temperature. But to save you from all that, you can take basal body temperature now. And so when you go to the doctor, you have a wide range of information to give them. The more information you have, the better likely it is you to get pregnant faster and for them to be able to help you faster. So don't be like me and be stubborn and kind of just give up on the whole thing. Like really be really persistent and keep doing it. Even if it makes you down, cry it out. Say you don't want to do it anymore, but the next morning, wake up, take that basal body temperature, log it, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Like, you don't even have to think about it anymore, because when you see that dip, you'll be so excited. So don't really think about it too much. And usually in the morning, I'm like, oh, it's 97.9, whatever. Like, it's not like it upsets me until I look later in the day and I see that my chart hasn't dipped yet. But anyways, those are OPKs. So OPKs are paired with basal body temperature. Basal body temperature can also be paired with charting. So charting your period with an app. I personally use the Glow app. It's my favorite app. I use the Pre-Mom app to track my ovulation test, which you guys just saw that app, what it looks like. So third one we're going to talk about, which is one that I struggle with the most, but it is very helpful, is your cervical mucus. So most of the time right after your period, you're not going to have any cervical mucus. You're going to be super dry, or it may just be like a little bit. It's not going to be enough for you to like be super like, oh wow, yeah, that's a lot, like, you know, change your underwear or whatever. TMI. And then the second one is going to be more creamy, kind of like yogurt almost. It's going to be slightly sticky, but it will break. It's going to be more of a soft consistency. That is semi-fertile. And then you're going to get some that are super stringy, that are going to be able to spread about 1 to 2 inches wide before it breaks, and it's going to be more like egg whites. That's going to be your most fertile cervical mucus, and obviously there's stages in between those that kind of like indicate that you're progressing, but those are the ones to really look for. So if you're having thick and creamy and really white cervical mucus, that's not the most fertile or most baby friendly cervical mucus, so it might not be towards your ovulation. But if you're noticing it starting to thin up and get more like egg whites, that can mean detect ovulation is occurring, because it's super helpful. Cervical mucus, you have to have it. If you're someone like me who doesn't get a lot of cervical mucus, it can be hard to predict with that, but still keeping an eye on it is super important. And if you're someone like me as well who, you know, during the ovulation peak, you still need like extra, you think you need extra help, there's a bunch of products. I think it's called Pre-Seed. Pre-Seed, you can use that as well. Me and Mauricio personally have not tried it yet. We're not there. Obviously, like we would take every step needed to do it. But for right now, like, we're just taking it one step at a time and not trying to invest in a lot of money outside of what the doctor is giving us. But yeah, those are my 3 ways to detect and confirm ovulation. The only one that can really guarantee that ovulation occurred or that ovulation is occurring is your basal body temperature, and obviously your cervical mucus will tell you as well. But if you guys have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me. And also, if you want more help, go ahead and call your doctor. They are usually likely to give you a lot of help. I call my doctor all the time, and the front desk knows what I'm gonna ask, and they usually know the answer to it, and it's super easy. I don't even have to talk to the doctor or the nurse, but they are available. Find the clinic that will help you and be friendly with you and be able to answer all your questions, because you're gonna have a million and one. And don't look up on the internet. Call your fertility clinic or your OBGYN or whoever you're working with and ask them. So I will see you guys in my next video. Hope you guys enjoy this one, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.